It's easy to hate modern technology. It went from being a tool that helped us with our everyday problems to becoming an everyday problem. The invasive and addictive nature of it all makes it feel more like an inconvenience now than a tool. But if you take a step back and approach it as that tool or guide for discovery it originally was, it could be incredible. I made a video about how our perception of technology has shifted to hate it, and while I don't disagree with anything that I said in that video, I wanted to revisit the topic from a different angle. There is a beauty to technology that has been overshadowed by its horribly ugly side. Let's just dive in. First of all, we forgot we have the power to call anyone at any time. It feels weird to take a step back and think about how cool the main feature of an iPhone is. It's like watching an old stand-up special and seeing the comedian just be amazed by the most mundane shit nowadays. And get this, they're calling them cellular phones. Well, if you ask me, this doesn't look cellular at all. That was like Mickey Mouse doing stand-up. I don't know what the that was. Another thing cell phones are great for is finding information, so you don't have to use them for that main function of making phone calls. I can look up any question I have and instantly get an answer, followed by a bunch of conflicting answers. I can find the hours of any restaurant in the matter of seconds rather than minutes. You know what, on the topic of hours, can someone educate me on how close to closing you can go to a restaurant? I always thought if you're going to a sit down, you can't go within 30 minutes of closing. Yes, they're still technically open, but you got to be courteous to the people working there. I've had people say, we can't go there. They're going to close an hour after we arrive. That sounds like ample time to me. We're not going to a bespoke restaurant where you pick out which live lobster you want to get the boiling pot for your pleasure. We're getting burgers. Their closing procedure is empty the mousetraps and turn off the lights. We're not gonna inconvenience anyone by making them grill a frozen patty an hour before they close. That might have been a controversial take, I'm sorry. Let's move on to something not so controversial. AI. That's not controversial, right? To be fair though, I'm not using it in like an evil way. I'm not Marvel making an AI opening instead of hiring artists. I'm not making money from using AI. I mean, I might use it sometimes at work to write copy. That's just about it. I guess that's technically making money from it, but it's very much less serious. Sometimes I need to show ChatGPT an important email that I'm gonna send out to make sure, yes, this is still in English. You didn't somehow dip into Portuguese. It can also act as my doctor when I have a weird bump, a landscape doctor when a plant isn't doing the one thing it's supposed to be doing, or it could be my physical therapist when my elbow's making a weird clicking thing when I'm working out. It's like moving out of a groove. There's something moving. I don't know what it is. I don't know if I should share this online. If you're an actual physical therapist, maybe let me know. It's helped me with my finances, analyzing data, making workout routines, planning meals, and so much more. AI, and more specifically ChatGPT, is a wonderful tool when you look past its hallucinations and ability to make sure high schoolers never use critical thinking. Something AI can't do is help you have real-world conversations with real-world people. I mean, it probably can, but I want to transition into something else. I recently went to Germany to legally consume a Kinder egg, and everyone spoke English there, so I did not need Google Translate at all. Therefore, I'm going to steal my friend Zach's story. Sorry, Zach, you are too hot to not steal from. My friend recently took a trip to Japan, and unlike most dudes in their 20s taking a trip to Japan, he didn't watch anime for months on end to learn the beautiful language of the land of the rising sun. He used Google Translate and it worked perfectly fine. He survived like 20 days there with his friends. He also used it to write the most enchanting poem for his now wife, a radiant woman he met in the countryside of Japan, and they still use Google Translate to this day to communicate with each other. I took some liberties with Zach's story near the end there. On second thought, I did use Google Translate's awesome lens feature to check the ingredients of food to make sure I was eating normal microplastic ridden food and not like dog meat or something. I mean, I don't know how they roll in Germany. wouldn't be the worst thing they've ever done. Google Translate is another example of something so normal now that's actually freaking incredible when you think about it. You don't have to fiddle through a book anymore to struggle your way through a conversation overseas. You and the other person can just talk into your phone and it'll translate the whole conversation for you guys. On the topic of meeting people, let's move on to our second point. The Craigslist / Facebook Marketplace / OfferUp / potential murderer meetup apps. Sometimes you have something too stupid to package and ship with eBay, but too valuable to just donate to a thrift store. Let me tell you about something that's existed for 30 years now that we don't talk about enough. There is a beauty in being able to sell anything you own in your house, just like that. There are so many things I have lying around the house that I finally decide I don't need this thing. I haven't used it in 3 years. I'm just gonna sell it for 20 bucks to get it out of the house. Then there's always that moment after it does sell for 20 bucks where you're like, oh, why did I think my used Ethernet adapters were only worth $20? Okay, for some reason, I forgot to move just this section of the script from my notebook to the screen I read off of, so bear with me now. Not only are these platforms great for getting rid of stuff, but also gathering stuff, and at a great deal. I got this monitor stand back here for 10 bucks, same day pickup. Try to beat that, Best Buy. I've also bought an old iMac that I can't even watch YouTube on or do anything with. It's just basically a DVD player for 20 bucks. But these are just things a normal person would buy. I mean, maybe not the iMac that I cannot use. That was just kind of a me thing. I want to show you things that a normal person would not buy, but I would if I could afford both the money and the space for these things. The first thing is this Super Mario Brothers custom built throne, if you will, so you can feel just as super as the brothers themselves. I know I've shown this in a video before, but it deserves the spotlight. The second thing that I would love to buy are all these different M&M stands. I've been eyeballing these things for years now. I've had a conversation with the employee at CVS because they had one in the corner. It was just sitting there unused, and I was like, hey dude, you guys getting rid of that soon? Where are you getting rid of it? Could we work out a deal? The third thing, dope ass old cars. This seems to be only a Facebook Marketplace thing for some reason, at least where I'm at. Craigslist and OfferUp only want used dealerships to repost the same thing 1.5 million times so that their platforms are unusable and they have to go and buy a brand new car instead. I don't know what the point is here. This is fucking horrible. Fourth is various marketing materials and full-on restaurant signs. The Carl's Jr. star, cool. A 4.5-foot Dairy Queen sign, why not? An 8-foot Del Taco sign taller than the seller himself. Let me grab my 16-wheeler. Obviously, there are plenty of other things that are both useful and not useful that I would love to show on here, but I'm not going to waste your time. Just open Facebook Marketplace. You will find the most absurd shit you did not know people could sell. There's also a bunch of really cheap old hobby stuff. So if you're ever like bored with whatever your current hobbies are, you could just pick up something completely new from Facebook Marketplace in the same day. Our third main point here is creative connection, and this is a two-way kind of situation. The first part of this is that technology allows you to find creative people and their incredible work. I'm going to do a really quick, very brief things I like corner of things that I recently found and like. The first thing is David Cho. There are a lot of first things in this section, but the first thing is David Cho, who is a painter who's been around for a long time, and he has a YouTube channel of the most like bizarre and strangely inspiring things. I've seen his videos here and there for like years now, but I've gotten really into it more recently for some reason. His videos are fun, they're creative, they're inspiring, and I just love the weird feel to them all. Tiny Idea is a comedy group that I recently found, and I've watched a shit ton of their skits. They're super fucking funny. It is really rare to find just genuinely funny skit comedy on YouTube. Good Blood is a YouTube channel that I also recently found. I've had their Miyamoto video in my watch later for months now. Sorry, it's a long video. It took me a second to get to it, but this video was incredible, and I've watched their other stuff. It's awesome. They're fucking beautiful videos. Also, the last thing before we move on, I want to mention just random covers I've been finding and I fucking love. There's one by these two guys in a roof, I think they're called. They cover a Mom Jeans song and it's super fucking good. These blokes are super talented. The other cover I've been really into is this cover of How Do You Know It's Not Armadillo Shells by Halt Mulligan, covered by Jonte Fredrickson. It's incredible. Check it out. Let's move on. The second point of this main point is that modern technology also allows you to create. I don't just mean using the internet to post stuff, but I mean like literally modern technology has made instruments and every other kind of art form so much more affordable for everyone. Music stuff is so much cheaper, including GarageBand, which is just on everyone's phone or a laptop. You could do digital drawing and all this other stuff. Just everything is cheap, man. Everything is cheaper and you can afford it. And if you can't, you go to Craigslist and you find it for cheap on there. Modern technology allows all of us to be more creative, both in terms of finding inspirational, creative people and giving us the power to make things. So what now? Get out there and take advantage of this technology. Go out there and talk to someone who can't understand you. Ask a Portuguese woman about her shoes with Google Translate. Use OfferUp to get rid of all that shit that you've had sitting around for months. Just list it for $5. Someone will want your sad, deflated beanbag for some art project. Buy a prop from the Zeke and Luther set to add some personality to your room. Buy a shitty drum set and learn to play the drums. Find stuff that's affordable to make your living space a reflection of who you are, or pick up a new skill because someone's selling their old gear for very cheap. Take advantage of modern technology that's made all these things so much cheaper and easier to learn about and make something that's human. Whether it's digital painting, graphic design, tiki sculptures, music productions, or any other weird hobby I'm forgetting, you can get into it for so much cheaper than ever before. Use the internet and technology to find people that inspire you and then make stuff and post it to inspire other people. Or you could just use modern technology to look up your name with the words "the hedgehog" afterwards and you will find something. I'm not gonna say it's good or bad, but something will show up. Technology is beautiful. It's got a horribly ugly side, but it's beautiful. Using modern technology for good is like watching Modern Family Guy to laugh. It might seem impossible, but the original idea is still there. You could fulfill that goal if you just go about it the right way. There are definitely ways to improve your experience and mental health when using technology. It's not all just about buying funny signs and weird promo material from 2006. I think it's mostly about the intent when you pick up your device. You got to be mindful of what you're picking it up for. If you're not careful, you might end up wasting 2 hours watching 3 Italian American dudes do, I don't know, just dope shit, I guess, or a high-pitched teenager get bullied by Kevin, or this. Is this what you wanted when you opened YouTube today? Let me know in the comments. Follow the Instagram, check out the clothing, and chondle that subscribe button for weekly videos. Also, credit to my boy Chips for coming up with that catchphrase. I say that because it's been getting a lot of praise, and I want to make sure the true artist gets the credit. That's about it. Thank you for watching.